We are Black Horse. We are Wisconsin.
Beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's October 1st. We're out at Miller Park still playing baseball, winding up the final 3 games of the 2012 season. The Padres and the Brewers are ready to battle in the first of 3. Out on the mound, it's the lefty Clayton Richard, who just had a 5-game winning streak snapped in his last start, and Sean Markham last week won his first game in 7 starts since coming off the disabled list. At the plate, Ryan Braun putting up MVP-like numbers for the 2nd consecutive year. Tremendous numbers as he goes through 151 games, and he is chasing Chase Headley for the RBI crown. These two will battle it out here over the next 3 games to see who will take that home by Wednesday. Hi, everybody. Craig Couchon, Jerry Augustine. Welcome back to the broadcast. Sean Markham out on the hill for Milwaukee, and boy, he has looked strong over his last 2 starts. Won his last start after spending 2 months on the disabled list. What is he looking to do tonight, which could potentially be his last start as a Milwaukee Brewer?
Well, I think first and foremost, he wants to bring home a win. He'd like to have a good quality start. But I think this is a personal game for Sean Markham. He wants to go out and show that he has that good control. He can command the strike zone. And I'm going to tell you what, he wants to show that he's healthy and that he's going to finish the season strong.
Well, the numbers certainly showed his last 2 starts, a 2.25 ERA, and he has been in control. In fact, struck out 6 batters in his last start for Sean Markham. It has been a milestone March for this Brewer team, looking for a win tonight that would assure them of a winning record. A lot of individual performances might rise to the top as well. B.A. and Rock take you the rest of the way.
Needs at Menards. by Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota, when you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Roof is all closed up here at Miller Park on a cool Monday night. Ryan Braun, he's back in the lineup. The regulars are in there tonight, even though the Brewers were eliminated from postseason contention yesterday. Braun, Aoki, and Aramis Ramirez. He's chasing 300 this season, hitting .299. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park in Milwaukee. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us. Well, 159 games does not a season make. And yes, the Brewers are eliminated from postseason. But, Rock, there's still a lot to play for. You play 162. And a number of Brewers, not just individuals, but also the team, they've got something to play for as far as milestones go.
Yeah, these guys are all self-motivators. And that's really proven when they were down 12 games under 500. They just kept pushing and pushing. And right down to the end. I mean, a lot of these guys went into Ron Renicky saying, I want to finish the season. I don't want to sit out. Nothing has been accomplished quite yet. Giovanni Gallardo, the pitching staff has the strikeout record they're going to be going after. Ryan Braun would certainly like to be able to get that RBI title. 37 doubles for Aoki is a new Brewers rookie record. So a lot of things that you can look forward to in the next 3 games for this Brewers offense and the pitching staff. Ryan Braun certainly on a pace to be another MVP. And we'll see what happens. It's back-to-back 30-30 seasons, the 41 home runs, 30 stolen bases. He's one behind Chase Headley, who is in the Padres lineup here today. So a lot for these guys to play for. The season's not over yet.
An RBI crown on the line the next 3 days. Brewers, Padres, Bud Black, and Ron Renicky. They were together with the Angels back in the day. It's game 1 of this 3-game series, the last 3 here at home of the season. It's coming up next. Have you with us on a Monday night, the last 3 games of the season coming up, and appreciating big league baseball as long as we can before they close up shop here at Miller Park after the game on Wednesday. The San Diego Padres are here for the final 3. Bud Black and his Padres have played much better in the second half. They are still 9 games under 500. They just dropped 4 out of 6 on their last homestand. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Giants and had a heartbreaking loss last night. But the Padres are certainly putting some numbers together from some individuals in their batting order. Everett Cabrera is the league leader in stolen bases. Chase Headley is the league leader in runs batted in, the switch hitting third baseman. And that will present a great matchup tonight with Ryan Braun and Chase Headley to see who can run down that RBI title. Got the switch hitting catcher, Yasmani Grandal. Clayton Richard is on the mound. He rounds out the Piggly Wiggly Padres batting order.
Well, Sean Markham picked up a win for the first time since June 8th, and that game against the San Diego Padres, that was June 8th. He won his last start against the Reds. 6 innings, 1 run. He only gave up 4 hits. Last start of the year for Sean Markham tonight.
And it could be the final start of his Milwaukee Brewer career as you check the defense behind him. Ryan Braun, Carlos Gomez, and Nori Aoki. Around the horn, it's Aramis Ramirez, Gene Segura, Ricky Weeks, and Corey Hart. And Jonathan Lucroy will do the catching. Brewers defense brought to you by Menards. Alan Porter is the home plate umpire. Jim Reynolds, James Hoy, and Jim Joyce on the bases. There's the crew chief, Jim Joyce. And we're ready for baseball tonight. Everett Cabrera will lead off. He had 4 stolen bases yesterday against the Giants and is the league leader. We talked about this milestone the Brewers are chasing. They're trying to lead the National League in home runs and stolen bases. Well, the team that is closest to them in stolen bases is the Padres. So it'll be imperative for the Brewers to try to keep the Padres down, keep them off the base paths. Cabrera hitting just .242. Couple of home runs, 24 runs batted in. One of those home runs came off Sean Markham on June 8th here at Milwaukee. Not known as a power threat. He's a speed player. Markham's been pitching well in his last couple of starts, and he needed that. Certainly the ball club needed it. And Markham, who will be a free agent at season's end, needed to prove that he's healthy and can still pitch well, coming off the injury, the elbow injury that sat him down for 2 months. But he's gone back-to-back games of 6 innings, and he's only allowed 3 earned runs in his last 2 starts.
And all 3 of those earned runs have come in the first inning of each of those 2 starts. He's 3-0 career against the San Diego Padres is Sean Markham, an earned run average at about 3.5. As we talked about that game against the Cincinnati Reds, he gave up a first inning run, but was able to settle down after that. 5 scoreless, and that was about all he gave up. Only 4 base hits, 7 strikeouts. Really had good command of off speed. Good changeup right there. The cutter was very good and got some miles out of the fastball. Doing a good job in a hitter-friendly ballpark.
Well, in each of his last 2 starts, he's given up first inning runs. He gave up 2 against the Nationals in the first inning, then settled down. So he's trying to go through this first inning scoreless here today. It'll be his final start of the season. You won't see him pitching out of the bullpen unless there was some kind of major emergency on Wednesday. But Markham to be making his final start. He was a big part of the Brewers' division title last year. Had a great regular season, although he struggled in September and into the postseason. He was terrific for the Brewers in the regular season last year, and really, Rock, was off to a good start this season until he injured his elbow. He pitched on June 14th at Kansas City and went 7 2/3 innings. Pitched a terrific ball game against the Royals and was supposed to maybe miss 1 start or 2, but he ended up missing 2 months. He did not return to the big league mound until August 25th.
And he won 3 straight decisions before he got hurt.
A pop up into center field. Logan Forsythe sends one out to Gomez for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down for Markham, and that'll bring up Chase Headley, who has been big news in Major League Baseball. What a story this guy has been this year for the Padres. A .285 average, 31 homers, 113 RBIs. He's the league leader in runs batted in starting play today.
And most of all that damage has come in the second half since the All-Star break. 23 home runs, 71 RBIs since the All-Star break.
Opposite field, out to Braun. And that's a nice tidy inning for Sean Markham. 3 fly ball outs. 1, 2, 3. The Brewers are coming up. First game of this 3-game series with the Padres, matching up against an old friend, Bud Black. Former coaches together with the Angels. Piggly Wiggly batting order for Ron Renicky, Aoki, Weeks, and Braun at the top. Ramirez, Hart, and Lucroy in the middle with Gomez, Segura, and Markham rounding it out. And that's the batting order that will face left-hander Clayton Richard. A 14-game winner this year. He's trying to establish a new career high with 15 wins. And baseball's version of the 2-minute offense. He works in a hurry, this left-hander.
Yep, doesn't walk many, doesn't strike many out. He got beat by the Dodgers his last time out. Before that, he had won 5 in a row and 7 of his last 9. So he's been throwing the baseball well, not overpowering, but throws a lot of strikes.
Well, Richard, as Aoki just fouled, just missed the bag at third base. And give us a chance to check the Padres defensively. Jesus Guzman in left, Cameron Maben in center with Will Venable in right. The infield is Headley, Cabrera, Forsythe, and Alonso. And Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Clayton Richard on the mound. The catcher and the first baseman, 2 big pieces that the Padres acquired from the Cincinnati Reds in the Matt Latos deal. And Headley has just had a career year. And I'm not sure even the Padres, who have always liked Chase Headley, thought he would be a tremendous big league hitter. I don't think the Padres even expected this kind of production. Aoki chops one. Headley, and safe is the call. Aoki with an infield hit.
Aoki showing his good speed and showing that he hangs right in there against lefties, and Kershaw's pretty tough against left-handed batters. Left-hander in Ron Renicky's lineup tonight, and you can see he beats it easily at first base. Good start to the day for the Brewers, who were shut out yesterday. Busting it down that line for a base hit.
And a base runner for Ricky Weeks. Clayton Richard was originally a Chicago White Sox, and he was part of the Jake Peavy deal. And Richard learned under Mark Burley, then of the White Sox, and got under his wing. Burley mentored the young left-hander, and that's why he does work as fast as he does. He tried to mimic Mark Burley in every way. That's great stuff. Former football player in college. He played football and baseball at the University of Michigan.
Yeah, making his 5th career start against Milwaukee. First one of this year. Brewers and the Padres have locked up already 6 times. And split the 6 games 3-3. Kershaw, or I should say Clayton Richard as a Padre, is 3-1 against Milwaukee.
See his numbers in those 5 starts. Richard has been a workhorse this year, and like Burley, he's a guy that logs 200 innings as they have Aoki picked off. Good throw from Alonso to cut down Aoki. That is officially a caught stealing. That goes 1 to 3 to 6.
And got a pretty good move. He hangs that leg up there waiting for the runner to commit himself, and a good throw by Yonder Alonso to second base. An easy out.
Wipes out a leadoff infield hit. No balls and 2 strikes on Ricky Weeks. And down he goes. Strike 3. And 2 men are gone. Now we'll get to see head-to-head this series. Braun and Chase Headley. Braun right now is chasing Chase Headley in the RBI race. Has 112 runs batted in. Headley comes in with 113. But Braun still leads the league in homers and slugging percentage. Second in extra base hits. He and Aramis Ramirez are duking it out for the National League extra base hits title this season. And Ryan Braun has had a good year against left-handed pitching. He's hitting .357 against lefties this year. 17 of his 41 home runs against lefties in about a third of the at-bats. He's homering about every 8.2 at-bats against a left-handed pitcher. And he shoots that one down the right field line. A base hit. Headed to the corner. Braun on his way to second with his 80th extra base hit of the season. And it's a 2-out double for Ryan Braun.
Everybody wants to talk about the home run, but how about that swing right there? That approach, that fastball, that tailing fastball going away from Braun. He just sticks the bat out. He does that as well as anybody. Fastball off the outside corner. Look at the head, look at the bat angle, and he gets on top of it and shoots it just inside that first baseline. That is a difficult thing to do, and he does it on a regular basis. Some kind of hitter. Always amazes me when he does that. I don't know why, but it does.
Well, as balanced as a spray chart as you can have it, especially for a power hitter. Here's Aramis Ramirez.
I guess it amazes people that were never able to do that. You hit the ball to right. A lot of times, you know, the shoulder drops, you pop it up, and Braun does a terrific job of staying on top of that pitch and hitting it hard on the line.
Now, most hitters, that's a pop-up or a rollover ground ball and an easy out. Braun turns it into an extra base hit.
A lot of guys just happy to foul that off. Covers the plate extremely well.
Braun is currently 4th in the league in batting, by the way, but essentially he is 3rd in the league. Melky Cabrera will fall off the list before the season is over. He will not register enough plate appearances to win a batting title. So Buster Posey is the league leader right now, 337. Andrew McCutchen and then Ryan Braun. Braun's really swinging a hot bat. By the way, that double extends his hitting streak to 11 consecutive games. And Ramirez into right field, a base hit. Braun's going to try to score. Here comes a throw, and Braun is in there. Throw to second. Safe at second. 1-0 Brewers on a Ramirez RBI.
Well, both of them with an extra base hit. They're 1-2 in the National League in extra base hits. And Ryan with one. Now Ramirez and Brewers on the board were not able to score a single run in yesterday's ball game. How about that approach right there? Going down and getting it, dumping it into right field. Will Venerable, not a very good throw into home plate. Not even close.
And Ramirez with the good base running. Just safe at second base.
That's right. That's going to be a single.
That'll be an RBI for Ramirez, his 104th of the season. 3 hits in the inning for the Brewers. And They get on the board early tonight after being shut out by the Astros and Jordan Lyles yesterday afternoon. Corey Hart fouls it away.
Got ahead of myself. I was so excited that he got to second base.
Well, Braun and Ramirez have been the top run producing tandem in all of the National League. You see Braun with 112, Ramirez now 104. And they're going to run away with that title this year. And though Trio is responsible for more runs produced than the Braun, Ramirez, Hart trio in the National League. So seen a lot of great things from the middle of this batting order this season.
These guys have been doing it just about all season. The good thing for the Brewers is the guys in front and behind them are swinging the bats. That's why they're able to lead the league in runs scored, home runs. They have a 3 stolen base lead on the Padres. So that's going to be interesting to watch as we finish up.
And I give them credit for wanting to play. I was speaking with Ron Renicky before the game, and I was interested to know about his lineup today, the day after the Brewers are officially eliminated from postseason contention. His Hart goes into right field, playable, and that's that for the Brewers. But they score a run on 3 hits, 1-0 Crew as we head to the second. Then scores on the Aramis Ramirez RBI single. Bud Black and the Padres, they've really played good baseball, as we mentioned, since the All-Star break. They are 10 games over 500, 41-31, and you got to give Bud Black and his crew credit, because this is a ball club that's starting to put some pieces together, and they made a big trade this offseason with the Reds, and they've gotten some major results out of it and some terrific talent, and we'll see 2 of them here, the next 2 batters. Yasmani Grandal, the switch hitting catcher, leads off in the second inning. And Yonder Alonso, the first baseman, to go along with Edinson Volquez. Grandal hitting .293, and he rips that one into center field, a base hit.
Yeah, stays back nicely. They say he can catch and throw as well as anybody. Heard a lot about this young man, and get a chance to see him this week. A good approach up at the plate. He's got a little bit of a lifts the front leg. He puts it down before the swing, and boy, that's perfect technique and a ball down the middle. Hitting it out in front, banging it into center field.
Well, it gives you an idea of how deep the Reds farm system was, that they were able to trade away some talents. Switch hitting catcher, which is hard to come by, and this man at the plate, Yonder Alonso. The Reds felt like they were secure with Ryan Hannigan catching for a long time. which made Grandal available. And of course, Joey Votto signed a long-term deal at first base with the Reds, and that made Yonder Alonso available. And I would imagine for young players, Rod, for Alonso and Grandal, they get a great opportunity to go to San Diego and play, and they've responded in a big way this season.
And that's all you can ask for, an opportunity in the big league level. We know all about what the Brewers young players have been able to do in a playoff push. We've been talking about, you know, how rare it is to find switch hitters these days in the big league. The Padres have 4 of them, 3 of them in the starting lineup.
You see only Rosario and Todd Frazier with more RBIs among rookies in the National League than Alonso. 9 homers, 61 runs batted in. Edinson Volquez has won 11 games. Boxberger was the 4th piece in that trade, and he has more strikeouts than innings pitched. But I don't think the Reds would take the trade back, considering how good Latos has been in the second half, and he just might be the key to their postseason. A chance to turn it here. Weeks to second, and Segura in time. What an arm. Every day you watch this young kid play, you're just more and more impressed.
Not only does he have a strong arm, but he gets rid of it quickly. I mean, a rare combination that started out with a good feed from Ricky Weeks. Not an easy turn for Ricky. He had a long way to throw that baseball. Look how quick that release is. He's able to clear the runner. He's trying to get a piece of him. Look how far from second base he is. Takes a lot of agility to be able to do that, and that's not even close. Good pick by Corey Hart.
So 2 outs, the 4-6-3 double play on one swing of the bat, and here is Will Venable. Well, you got to give Segura credit too. He is drawn up under Aramis Ramirez. He's looking at Ramirez as a guy to pattern himself after, you know, a guy that shows up in a professional manner each and every day. So much so he's pulled the pant legs up to the knees tonight, just like his buddy over at third base. And Ramirez usually doesn't go too far without Segura in his sights. There's a base hit. Venable with a single.
All 3 hitters have hit the ball pretty well against Markham here in this second inning. Hey, there's just a couple of games left here at Miller Park. Brewers hosting the San Diego Padres tomorrow and Wednesday. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com.
So 2 outs with a runner at first base. Here is Jesus Guzman. Has 9 homers this year. Most of the Padres home runs come from one player, Chase Headley, who has 31.
Over a fourth of their home runs have come from Chase Headley. Don't be fooled. Some of these guys have some decent power. It's just that, you know, Petco Park, very tough to hit home runs if you don't get them down the lines. Miller Park, much different. Of course, Ryan Braun had no problem at Petco Park this year.
That's right. Had 3 home runs in a game against San Diego earlier this season. Hitting them where most people don't.
Yeah, well, guys like Ryan Braun, it doesn't matter where they're playing. They get them, they're going to go. I mean, it's the average guys that, you know, they have to hit them pretty good to get them out. Some ballparks hold them, some don't. No ballpark holds Ryan Braun when he gets one.
Markham with 2 away, facing Guzman, and another check on Venable. Venable's a stolen base threat. This Padres team second only to the Brewers in team steals this year. Venable has 23 stolen bases. It's been caught 6 times. Padres have 150 stolen bases as a club this season.
Behind Milwaukee.
Yeah, Brewers are 153, and that'll be a fun chase to follow here with these 2 teams matching up against each other. As Rock pointed out in our open, the Brewers are trying to do something in the National League that has not been done since '96, and that is lead the league in home runs and stolen bases.
There's still a chance to get that strikeout record. It's an interesting record to hold. Not sure what that means and how important it is to get, but you'd certainly like to be able to get it, that all-time team strikeout record. Well, they have to do average 9.
Yeah, 9 a game, the pitching staff. Markham looking for his first. We saw Mike Fiers strike out 10 yesterday. Fiers gave up 4 home runs in yesterday's game and 5 earned runs total. Not a big strikeout game. Unusual game in that regard. See high strikeouts and a lot of home runs.
And Padres are about the middle of the pack in strikeouts as an offense, so they don't punch out a whole lot.
There's a strike called. The first of the day for Sean Markham. And despite 2 hits, the Padres come up empty in the second. Nice double play turn behind Markham. Brewers coming up at the bottom of the second. Driving in Ryan Braun. Tonight's Subway surprise on the line is the National League East still up for grabs. Believe it or not, the Washington Nationals have hit a slump right here at the end of the year, and they are just 3 games up on the Braves. Their magic number is still 1. The Nationals were down early to the Phillies tonight. It's in the bottom of the 5th. Phillies lead 2-0, and the Braves are in Pittsburgh tonight. So Atlanta still has designs on a division title.
Maybe a chemistry issue with the Washington Nationals now that Strasburg is done for the year. You never know how something like that's going to affect your team. It's not as simple as saying, well, we've got good starting pitching, we can afford to be without them. There's a little bit more to it than that. I mean, it's a confidence level when you go out there on the field every day, knowing you're at full strength.
Well, if you're saying, it's easy, just win 1 game, the Nationals win the division. As Lucroy sends one deep to right, Venable is there for the out. All you got to do is go back and ask the Red Sox last year and the Atlanta Braves. It's not so easy to win. And if we started it right now, I'd love when we say that, when I say that. The wild card situation in the American League is still up for grabs. I mean, every race is up for grabs. The Rangers have an elimination number of 1 to win a division title. But interesting that the Yankees and the Red Sox, or rather the Yankees and the Orioles, are still tied. You have the Tigers and the Sox. Detroit still leading in that division. It's going to take a miracle at this point for the Sox to get back in it.
Yeah, two teams going in a different direction. Detroit is playing very well. The White Sox have lost 8 of the last 10.
National League looks a little more settled than the American League. And if it ended right now, it would be Washington and the wild card winner between the Braves and the Cardinals. Gomez breaks his bat, bounces out for out number 2. Well, we're set up for a great week. I know that. Very entertaining to watch these races. Unfortunately, the Brewers are not a part of it, but this is a fun week for baseball as the postseason begins. In the National League right now, it would be the Giants and the Reds, and the Nationals would face the wild card winner. Atlanta will host the wild card game unless they catch the Nationals. And there will be a tiebreaker if those races end in a tie. If it depends on winning a division or dropping into the wild cards, there will be a tiebreaker playoff game.
Yep, Thursday. And day off Thursday, then the wild card playing games on Friday, and then it all starts on Saturday. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun playoff schedule this year.
Nobody really looks like a strong runaway favorite at this point as Segura flies out to right, and the side is retired. 1, 2, 3. The Brewers go in order. Brandon Jennings in the house tonight. We'll talk to Telly when we come back.
The Padres 1-0, and I'm pleased to be joined by Milwaukee Bucks point guard Brandon Jennings. And Brandon, of course, you get an opportunity to start the camp tomorrow. How do you feel going into this, and how excited are you to get things rolling?
Oh, man, I'm very excited. I mean, man, we have a lot of new faces, of course. You know, we have a lot of depth. Me and Monte, you know, we'll finally be able to play a whole 82-game season together and go through a whole training camp. So I can't wait. I'm excited.
You guys added some new pieces, and fans will get an opportunity to see them in the open scrimmage on Thursday. How excited are you to show what you guys have this year in front of people?
Well, I mean, it's a preview of what everybody's going to be waiting for this season. You know, Thursday, 6:30 at the BMO Harris Center. Come out, it's free. Bring the kids. You know, we just really do it big, you know, in front of all the fans.
And finally, the first preseason game, October 13th, and that'll be the first chance fans will get to see you guys play against somebody else. And what do you think you guys have in store for the fans, and what can they anticipate from this team this season?
Well, I think with our depth and our length that we have now, the fact that we have so many bigs, and we've never been that deep, with the between the 4 and the 5 position. And with me and Monte, man, I think we'll just start running more. We just get out in the open run and just try to get as much easy buckets as we can.
Well, exciting times around here in Milwaukee. And Brandon, thanks for your time. And Brandon will be lacing them up for an 82-game season, Brian.
Yeah, and it's nice to see a full season in the NBA this year, and no lockout, no strike, so it's all good. As Cameron Maben lines out to Ricky Weeks for out number 1 here in the 3rd inning. Now the Bucks will open up November 2nd. That'll be on the road against the Celtics. And the next night, November 3rd, will be their home opener against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Brandon Jennings, he's starting to emerge as the face of the franchise. He says all the right things as Clayton Richards sends that one deep to right, and there it goes. A home run by the pitcher. Brewers are having their trouble against the opposing pitchers the last 2 days. Jordan Lyles homered yesterday, and now Richard pops his first home run of the season.
And no doubter here. Clayton Richards, I like his ballpark. A lot different than where we play. Fastball, 4-seamer, straight as a string, and Clayton Richards gives it a ride out there into that Padres bullpen. Actually up in the second deck. No cheapie there.
Big strong man goes deep. His first career home run, Clayton Richard. Gives him 7 RBIs on the season. So we're all tied at 1 as we head back to the top of the order at Everth Cabrera.
They tried to get ahead with the fastball, and Richard made him pay for it. Very impressive home run by the Padres pitcher. Wow.
Saw Jordan Lyles go up into the Lowe's level in the bleachers yesterday in left field. And a no-doubter here today by an opposing pitcher.
That'll put a smile on any pitcher's face. Anybody, for that matter. Position player, too. It's a big start for Richard. I mean, he's coming in at 14-13. He'd certainly like to finish over 500.
Well, he had a career best tying 5-game winning streak snapped his last time out. He lost against the Dodgers as Markham walks Cabrera. That's a no-no. The league leader in stolen bases is aboard as Markham issues his first walk. Cabrera is stealing a lot of bases, and he has an impressive success rate. 41 steals, 44 attempts, 93%, which is best in the National League.
Yeah, anything these days over 70% is considered to be pretty good. But 90, incredible.
And we'll see if he's on the move. He stole 4 bases yesterday. Here's Logan Forsythe. Markham does a nice job holding runners on and has a good quick move both to first and to the plate. Strike 1 to Forsythe.
You can't worry too much about being quick to home plate with Cabrera at first, because you try and rush yourself, you're going to make a bad pitch, and then hitter's going to hurt you. Hitter will always be able to hurt you more than a base runner.
Forsythe in the air, and Aoki a long run, can't quite get there. No balls and 2 strikes on the Padres second baseman Logan Forsythe. Well, a reminder to get all your high school football action with Fox Sports Prep Zone. Tune in Friday at 7 p.m. to Fox Sports Wisconsin when the Wisconsin Rapids takes on Stevens Point in the televised game of the week, or you can log on to foxsportswisconsin.com Click on the Prep Zone tab to watch West Appear against Seymour and River Valley versus Lancaster. For upcoming schedules and plus channel information, foxsportswisconsin.com. 0-2 the count on Forsythe. Into center field, pretty well hit, but right at Gomez for the second out.
And a lot of line drives off the bat for the Padres first 3 innings. Sean Markham giving up some atom balls right at the fielders.
Number 7, the third baseman, Chase Headley.
And here's Chase Headley. He flew out to left in the first inning. Headley has been the best hitter in baseball since the All-Star break. And you consider the ballpark he plays in to do that kind of damage. Nearly half of his home runs have come at Petco Park.
13 home runs, 51 RBIs at home in a very tough ballpark.
Well, Adrian Gonzalez always said, if you're going to be a home run hitter in San Diego, you have to have opposite field power. And Headley certainly does that. 13 of his 31 home runs at Petco. You see, he's hit 12 home runs into the opposite field. Runner goes, and that one's driven to right, pulled foul into the seats.
Yeah, a lot of switch hitters, have more power one side or the other, but really not Headley. You can see what he's been able to do since the All-Star break. Didn't do much in the first half. Really put himself on the map after the All-Star game. Over 300, 23 home runs, 71 RBIs. And really doing a nice job leading the National League in RBIs. He's got a 1 RBI lead over Ryan Braun. And that's something that Ryan Braun and Headley are going to keep an eye on in the remaining 3 games. No mailing it in for those 2 guys.
That's where it stands. And those 2 have been going back and forth over the last week. It's interesting that Headley, his career high for RBIs in a season, 64 until this year. He drove in 64 runs in 2009. He has 61 RBIs in the last 2 months. At a 31 RBI August, drove in 30 in the month of September. Runner goes. Lucroy's throw to second is high, and Cabrera's in there.
Goodwin would have had him. And a good throw in the bag, and Cabrera's an out at second base. Lucroy rushed his throw a little bit to get it there, and the arm dropped and it sailed a little bit high. Not a very good jump. And a good throw is going to get him.
Well, sometimes they steal them on the pitcher, sometimes on the catcher, and that one certainly belongs to Lucroy. League leading 42nd stolen base. And Headley draws the walk. So 2 walks in the inning. A run is in on a home run by the pitcher, Clayton Richard. First and second with 2 away for Yasmani Grandal. Grandal defected from Cuba and was a first-round draft pick by the Cincinnati Reds just 2 years ago, back in the 2010 season. Grandal was able to play his high school ball in Miami.
Looks like he has a good idea at the plate. Stays back nicely. Switch hitting catchers, that's a rare breed. We talked about switch hitters. There aren't too many of them, but switch hitting catchers, what a luxury that is to have.
He has all the tools. He's 6'2", 210. Has college experience, played at the University of Miami before he was drafted in the first round. And you might remember the Reds had Devin Mesoraco as their young up-and-coming catcher, and when you have to make a decision on a trade, it's good to trade from a position of strength, and the Reds had that, but that is to the Padres' gain now with a guy who looks like he's going to be a catcher in the big leagues for a long time. He's only 23. Pickoff play. And it's into shallow center. Cabrera will advance. Well, twice Cabrera could have been out with good throws. One from Lucroy and one from Markham. Like Markham had a chance at him.
Yep, once again, Gene Segura doing a nice job jockeying the runner back to second and busting it to the bag. It's the old daylight play and a good throw, and you might get an out, but he tried to lead Segura instead of throwing it at the bag, and that's why the throw went awry into center field. Never try to lead a fielder to a bag. You throw it to base.
2-2 on Grandal. All tied at 1 here in the third inning. Brewers scored in the first. Ramirez with an RBI single. Clayton Richard a home run for the Padres to start this inning. Down in the dirt. Good block.
Really doing a nice job squaring himself and keeping it in front. Just not enough to slide across. That ball will go off on an angle and over toward the dugout, but Lucroy able to snap that right shoulder around and keep it right in front of him. Good job.
Second and third with 2 away and a full count on Grandal. Lost him. Third walk of the inning for Sean Markham. And Lucroy out for a quick trip. Some line drive outs against Markham through the first couple of innings. Had a line drive out to start this inning. Forsythe hit one on the nose to center field for the second out.
Yeah, which is why Markham really trying to concentrate on the corners, and he's missing right now. He knows he can't afford to get too much of the middle of the plate.
Bases loaded, 2 away. And here's Alonso, and that one misses. Now Markham has to have the corners to be successful. He doesn't have that overpowering stuff, and things can get ugly for him quickly if he's not commanding well. Needs to make a big pitch here as we play with the bases loaded in the third. 2 balls and no strikes.
It went right at him that time. Good pitch on the inner half of the plate. Hit him up inside. Got a grand slam, but the numbers, the batting average is not very impressive for Alonso this year. Only 3 for 11.
A souvenir to take home. That ball is hit well left field. Braun closing. He's got it for the out. 3 line drive outs for the Padres. Markham escapes. Strands the bases loaded. All tied at 1.
pulse of social media, the Brewers eliminated from the postseason, but their record certainly not indicative of their output in some statistical categories. Fans, we want to hear from you. Which Brewers milestone is more impressive, leading the league in strikeouts, home runs, or stolen bases? They are chasing the all-time record of the 2003 Cubs for strikeouts, and again, trying to be the first team since the 1996 Rockies to lead the NL in home runs and stolen bases. We'd love to hear from you at FS Wisconsin with the hashtag milestones. BA?
All right, thanks a lot, Sophia. And it is time to start looking at some of those milestones now that the Brewers' postseason aspirations are officially over. As Markham shovels one over to the right side, that's going to work for Sean Markham. He will reach on an infield hit.
The base hit right there. Forsythe got over there just off the end of the glove, and Markham will reach with an infield hit. Handles it back pretty well. Able to get things going well here in the third.
Yeah, you got two good athletes matching up on the mound here tonight, Clayton Richard and Sean Markham. Mentioned Richard's football background. He was a quarterback. He backed up, I believe it was, who did he back up at Michigan? Is it Greasy? No, that's too long ago. The foul out of play. Just escaped me. I had it right on the tip of my tongue. I'll let you know when I come up with it.
I'm not much help to you here, pal.
No, it's okay.
I wish I could be.
We got R&D on it. We'll come up with it. Nori Aoki with Markham at first. Markham was a college shortstop back in the day at Missouri State. Infield hit to start it for Markham. Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Aoki. I just thought of it, Rock.
Yeah, I heard it too.
Chad Henne was the quarterback.
It just came to me as well. Isn't that something?
That is something. You know, we've been working together all year. That happens. Little tapper, going to be a tough play. Richard throws. Not in time. Another infield hit for Aoki. His second of the ball game.
Yeah, just about the same spot, but you know, that's a pretty good at bat. 2 times Aoki able to make contact. We talked about Clayton Richard being so good against lefties this year. He's got that very good slider. So now Aoki 2 for 2. Is trying to get a bat on it. And very close at first base, and he got the call. Jim Reynolds, the first base umpire, giving him the safe side. He got there quickly and made a nice throw.
So 2 on. A couple of infield hits, and here is Ricky Weeks. This game tied at 1 as we play in the bottom of the third. And looked like a changeup misses low and away.
He'll throw a few changeups to left or right-handers, but you know, it's basically going to be 4-seam, 2-seam fastballs and sliders. Just about both right-handers and left-handers. Guy's been an innings eater for Bud Black this year, coming in at 211 2/3.
Weeks, cue shot foul, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Speaking of football, Ricky Weeks, now there's a guy that could have had a football career if he chose. Looks like well, when he first came up, he kind of looked like a running back. Now he looks like a middle linebacker.
Right. Could have been a track star.
Yeah, his sister was a track star, as a matter of fact.
Right.
Ricky's younger brother, Jamal Weeks, is in the throes of a pennant race right now with the Oakland Athletics. Don't know if he's going to make the postseason roster or not, but that would be quite a story. Can go to his older brother for some advice. Inside corner for a called strike. 3-2. Ricky with 20 home runs on the season. Brewers have a chance to have 5 players hit at least 20. Got jammed there a little bit. Fly ball into left center. And Maben brings it in for the first out. And the runners cannot advance. So that'll bring Braun to the plate in an RBI chance. The league leader in home runs with 41. Gomez is just 2 home runs away from 20. Already has established a career high by 10. And the team that hits more home runs than any other in the National League. It's been a fun year to watch these guys hit them out of the ballparks.
Up and down the batting order, they've been able to produce the big home runs. Chasing 200 home runs this year.
Another 2 away from that mark. Braun an RBI behind Headley for the league lead. He has 2 on with 1 away.
Tried to backdoor that slider. Braun didn't bite. That was a tailing fastball off the outside corner. The Braun hit his first time up. Doubled down the line and right. See what he does to him here.
Braun doubled and scored in the first. Scored the lone Brewer run. All tied at 1 with 2 on. And Braun takes the strike. That's Markham at second. Aoki at first. Down and in. 2-1 on Braun. Braun making a serious run at a second consecutive MVP award. His numbers are actually better than his MVP season last season at this time with 3 to play. And he chased one. Make it 2-2 now on Braun.
There's that good slider down in the dirt. He's got a big break on it.
Go through 151 games. See the numbers for Ryan Braun. Actually, and a swing and a miss as Braun strikes out.
They only gave him a fastball for show. A fastball in on him, and then every other pitch was a slider. Last 2 down in the dirt. Keep the slider down there with 2 strikes. You're not going to get hurt too bad. And Brawny swings right over the top.
So 2 outs. Still 2 on, and here is Aramis Ramirez. Bouncing to short. Cabrera goes the easy way, and the Brewers come up empty. A couple of infield hits stranded at third base. We're in the 3rd inning, and it's still tied at 1.
Clayton Richard against Sean Markham. Now the Brewers struck first on Aramis Ramirez's 104th RBI, scoring Ryan Braun, who doubled. Ryan scored 106 runs, and then Clayton Richard on the first pitch fastball from Markham. That came in the top of the third. His first home run of the year. 1-1 here at Miller Park. The final 3 home games of the season.
So we head to the top of the 4th inning. The Padres are coming up. Will Venable will lead off. Just a reminder that weekdays on Fox Sports Wisconsin, it's the Dan Patrick Show. Don't miss exclusive guests, including high-profile athletes and celebrities, breaking sports news and unparalleled insider access. The Dan Patrick Show, weekdays at 8 a.m. on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Hammerhead. Get it?
Got it. That's actually battery operated, right?
Mm-hmm.
That thing will go up and down, give that guy a headache.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get you one of those.
Got the old Barrowman logo on his T-shirt. I like that one. Feels comfortable.
Feels good when it stops banging.
Yeah.
I actually saw that thing in action once. That thing's old. It's been around a while. I think that was part of the Buckethead Brigade.
Look at his buddy. Just went with a wig. Just mailed it in. 1-2 the count on Venable. That's been a great year at the gate for the Brewers. Brewers fans, second to none. Well, it's incredible when you think about drawing 2.7, 2.8 million fans. Love their baseball. Great venue to watch ball games. Yeah, we get a lot of those too. We get a lot of guys we can zero in on. Entertainment value is up.
Yep, 5th in the National League in attendance. Brewer fans should be very proud of that. Small market. How many times do you think those two guys have been at the ballpark?
Hammerhead, he's got some experience. 1-2 to Venable, down and in. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're keeping our eye on some other games across the league. A lot going on in the American League. The Yankees are up big on the Red Sox, 9-1. And the Orioles, who are tied with New York, as Venable sends that one into the gap. A one hopper off the fence. Venable thinking about 3. He'll stop with a double. Well, the Padres are squaring up the baseball against Sean Markham. They just don't have a whole lot of hits to show for it.
Yeah, a lot of line drives, some ground balls right at some defenders, and there's that fastball. That's a good approach by Venable. Not a big swing, just trying to get the barrel of the bat on it. Goes top down, gets on top of it, and rips it into the gap out there in left center. A nice approach.
A 2-strike double for Venable. Here's Jesus Guzman. So with the Yankees leading big over the Red Sox, the Orioles trying to keep pace. They trail the Rays 4-1. Rays are putting up a big number in the 7th. They've scored 3 already and still at work in the bottom of the 7th inning. Tampa still has a mathematical chance, but they'd need to win out. And they're hoping the Oakland Athletics lose out the next 3 days.
Tough division, Tampa Bay. 88-71. Looks like they're going to miss the postseason. Any better team over the last few years in late September than the Rays?
They had that thrilling comeback last year. I like what Joe Madden said. He said they've ordered a charter plane for Wednesday night after their final game of the regular season to take them to their tiebreaker. How about that?
Nice.
The Athletics play tonight. They start a 3-game series with the Rangers. Rangers' magic number is 1 over Oakland to win the American League West.
You and I could order a charter if we wanted. Don't have to pay for it. I mean, just cancel it.
Just order it up.
Yeah.
I think they usually take a credit card though. When
really?
yeah.
Non-refundable deposit?
Right. Segura will make the play to first for the out. Venable advances. Yeah, they don't just let you make a call and order up a charter plane.
Do you have enough credit limit on your card that we could do that?
I'm not sure I'm there at this point. Been a long year on the road. Our AT&T trivia. Who is the only Padres hitter to lead the National League in runs batted in? It's a big name.
I know that one. I think I played with this guy.
Yeah?
We were in the Angels together. Well, that's what I'm thinking of.
I'll chew on it for a little while. We'll have the answer for you next half inning, or when Chris Withers remembers.
Is that enough of a hint for everyone?
Here's Cameron Maben with the infield in, and Markham misses down and away. Padres threatening to take the lead here in the fourth. Popped him up center field. This could be fun. Venable runs well. Gomez has a good arm, and here he comes. He'll stop as Gomez gets off a good throw.
9 outfield assists for Carlos Gomez, and that's what kept Venerable at third base.
That surprises me a little bit with the pitcher coming up. Glenn Hoffman, Trevor's older brother, the third base coach.
Scouting report is you don't run on Gomez, and that was certainly not deep enough. It looked as though if he took off, he had a chance to throw up the line a little bit. Gomez with a tremendous throwing arm. Sometimes it can be a bit off, but got a lot behind it. 9 outfield assists for Gomez.
So now 2 away with Richard coming up. Now you wonder if Richard's last at-bat had something to do with Glenn Hoffman's thinking over at third base. He homered his last time up against Markham. And hits that one deep to right. Aoki across, and he's got it. Nori Aoki playing deep with the pitcher at the plate. Runs it down, and Markham a scoreless fourth, stranding a runner at third. Official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine.
Padres and Brewers deadlocked at 1 apiece as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Time to check in with the crew in the community. The Brewers Community Foundation and the Milwaukee Brewers are offering one lucky fan the chance to spend Halloween with all 5 members of the Clements Famous Racing Sausages. Fans can visit Brewers.com and participate in an online auction from now through October 11th. Visit Brewers.com for more details. Brian?
Okay, Telly, thanks. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Corey Hart leads off for Milwaukee. Hart, Lucroy, Gomez to start this inning. Clayton Richard giving up a run in the first inning on 3 hits. Gave up a couple of infield hits last inning to start the inning, but was able to retire Weeks, Braun, and Ramirez in order to end it. Foul territory, and that'll be the second baseman Forsythe who comes across to make the catch. 1 gone here in the 4th. And back to our AT&T trivia. Who is the only Padres hitter to lead the National League in RBIs? Chase Headley is having a great year driving in runs, has 113. Dave Winfield with 118. 1979. Is that who you were thinking of?
Oh, yeah. He was on the same team with Winfield with the Angels back in 89 and 90. Had some good teams back then. Doug Rader, the manager.
Got any Dave Winfield stories for us, Rock? That you could share?
Not off the top of my head.
Well, think about it. If something comes up.
You talk about a guy that when he entered a room commanded the room a little bit. I mean, you knew when Dave Winfield showed up that he kind of took over. I mean, not by his own choosing. He just had that presence.
Lucroy rolls over 1 to short. Cabrera 4 out, number 2.
Hey, the best seats, prices, perks, and the best of Brewers baseball. It's all yours with a season ticket package. For more information, call 414-902-HITS for 2013 season tickets. Yeah, based on what we saw in September, it should be an interesting year for the crew. Things looking up as opposed to what they looked like at the beginning of August.
The Brewers very impressed with some of their young players. I was a little bit surprised to see the lineup today, to see most of the regulars in there. This is basically the lineup that Ron Renicky has used to fight their way back into a pennant race. And I thought maybe a day after they were eliminated from postseason contention, you might see some guys get some rest. You know, Corey Hart, he's playing on an injured foot. Braun's nicked up. Ramos Ramirez, these guys have been showing up to play every day, but they all wanted to be in there today.
Well, why do you think they're able to scrap their way back after being down 12 games under? I mean, they were 12 under 500, and the mentality of that to get back to where they are now, I mean, shows up on a day like today. These guys want to stay in there. They want to finish the season. Guys have goals that they want to attain, and they want to finish over 500. Right now, they're guaranteed an 81 win season. That would be 81 and 81. They don't want that. It might be different tomorrow. Who knows if they are able to pick up a win. We'll see. Tremendous job by Ron Renicky this year. Ron Renicky and his coaching staff doing a heck of a job keeping these guys focused. We talk about it all the time, but you have to tip your hat to what they were able to do.
Into right field, deep. Gomez sends that one out of here. Carlos Gomez with an opposite field blast. Number 19 for Gomez. And the Brewers take a 2-1 lead, a 2-out homer.
And talking about milestones. One more for 20 for Gomez, one more for 200 for the club. You see, he got that one just a little bit off the sweet spot. Still strong enough as Gomez to power it out of here in the right field by plenty.
As Richard deals strike 1 to Segura. Gomez has owned Clayton Richard in his career. He's now 5 for 8 against him. Home run number 19 of the season. Gomez with 51 runs batted in. That extends his hitting streak to 8 consecutive games. We've started to see Gomez hit some home runs to the opposite field this season. Not something he has ever really done. He's Segura. That's a nice play by Richard. Lobs it over to first. Segura is retired, but Carlos Gomez gives the Brewers the lead. Now 1 homer away from a 20-homer season. 2-1 Brew Crew. Two to one lead. A home run number 19, and Gomez has been doing it with his glove and his bat. He's had a great year this year. He's established himself as the everyday center fielder, and these are the opposite field home runs we're talking about. That was on Thursday in Cincinnati. He made 2 terrific catches on Thursday as well. Came back Friday and launched one out of here, homering in back-to-back games, and now homering here in the first game of this series against San Diego.
Yeah, talk about providing energy for a ball club. Carlos Gomez certainly epitomizes that.
Top of the order, Everett Cabrera, who has walked and stolen a base in this game. And there's a strike to Cabrera.
Does a lot of things very well right now, does Carlos Gomez. Even, his throwing has been a good surprise. I mean, a lot of his throws have been right on the money. He's got the 9 outfield assists this year. That's in the top 10 in the National League. Even that last throw, although it was a little bit offline, the fact that it was on a line the way it was, I really couldn't get a good read for Will Venable over there at third. He thought it was on line. If he threw that a little bit higher, I think Venable takes off. That's why it was such a good throw.
Bouncing ball to Ricky Weeks. And there is out number 1 as Cabrera is retired. Let's check our Carsoup.com email the booth question. Sam in Stevens Point, pick the more impressive season, Mike Trout or Miguel Cabrera. Ooh, Sam, you're stirring up the hornet's nest. Cabrera has a chance to win the Triple Crown this season. Mike Trout has had a season that has never been seen by a rookie, and it's been one of those rare years where you add runs scored, stolen bases, 30 home runs. I mean, who's doing more to produce runs?
Well, he's got the Triple Crown, does Cabrera right now, but Joe Mauer is right on his tail. For the batting average, 325 for Cabrera, 323 for Mauer. And Cabrera is tied with Josh Hamilton for home runs.
Here's Carlos Gomez. He makes a catch for out number 2. That's a tough call, but it does, you know, if you talk about overall production for a team, and I'm not sure the argument that Trout's Angels probably won't be in the playoffs, although they still have a mathematical chance. The Tigers look like they're in. The Angels have a better record, and they've been in a pennant race. So I think that argument is out. And you have to consider Trout's position in the batting order. He's a leadoff hitter. How about a leadoff hitter that hits 30 homers?
Right. Well, Cabrera is going to have 200 hits. He's at 199. Derek Jeter, once again, Derek Jeter, 213 hits this year. Cabrera right behind Trout in runs scored. Of course, Trout's going to beat him, but 127 runs scored for Trout, 108 for Cabrera. Just incredible.
Trout is a excellent center fielder, key position on the field. Cabrera below average third baseman. As Headley draws the walk. Second time Markham has walked Headley. Well, we take you back to the last 2 Triple Crown winners. Happened in back-to-back years. 1966, Frank Robinson did it. And led the league with a .316 batting average. 49 homers, 122 runs batted in. Frank Robinson. The next season, Yaz. And he's the last Triple Crown winner in Major League Baseball.
Home run off of Denny McClain. That's not bad. Did you see the shots of Frank Robinson?
Headley took off, then stopped. And Markham balks. Markham stopped mid-pitch. Yeah, it's cool to look back at some of that old footage. Frank Robinson and Carl Yastrzemski. Here's the balk. Lucroy just stood up. Might put that one on Lucroy. Markham probably thought or heard timeout.
With those shots of Frank Robinson, Drysdale and Koufax, he got hits.
That was nice.
Yeah.
It was a World Series.
And you can't do that, Sean. You got to keep going.
So runner at second with 2 away. Well, it would be something if Miguel Cabrera could win the Triple Crown. It would certainly up the ante for that vote. You can get a lot of arguments for both leagues this year. Ryan Braun certainly putting up the kind of numbers. He's had a more Trout-like season than Miguel Cabrera in the fact that Braun steals bases. He has over 30 steals to go along with his 40+ home runs. Right off the end of the bat, Segura makes the play to end the inning. And Markham puts up another 0. 2-1 Brewers as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The Brewers and the Padres. And the first game of this 3-game series, the final 3 games of the regular season. Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder, Telly Hughes, Chris Withers, and Kevin Shank in the truck. Pre-game producer Brad Weimer. Good to have you with us tonight. Sean Markham ready to lead off. 2-1 Brewers as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Got an RBI single from Aramis Ramirez in the first inning. He drove in Braun. And then a home run by Gomez. Both runs being delivered with 2 outs. Oh, 2 to Markham. And that one's down and away. Markham had an infield hit his last time up. Now we were just talking about Miguel Cabrera, the Tigers in Kansas City tonight, taking on the Royals, trying to secure a division title. It's been a free fall for the White Sox. Tigers could wrap it up with a victory here tonight. Detroit has a 3-game lead over the White Sox with 3 to play. The best that the White Sox can hope for is a tiebreaker game. As Markham strikes out. And we were talking Miguel Cabrera, and how about this? In that ballpark. Now that's what MVPs do. Opposite field home run at Kauffman Stadium is saying something. 3-0 the Tigers had the lead. Cabrera with the home run now takes over the top spot in the American League. He just passed Josh Hamilton, who will be in action later tonight in Oakland. So he is first in all 3 Triple Crown categories with home run number 44 of the season. Aoki with a base hit. His 3rd hit of the game.
Norrie knocking on the door at a .290 batting average. Well, he's been something else since the beginning of September. Not only hitting for power, but hitting for average and doing a good job against lefties. Richard missed his spot. It was supposed to be away, ended up in, and Aoki gets on top of it. And not too many lefties handle the ball up in the zone any better than Norrie.
Very unusual in that regard that he hits the high fastball. 3 for 3 today is Aoki. I had a fascinating conversation with Norrie Aoki today through his translator about the baseball and the difference in the baseball between the major leagues and in Japan. And I'd always heard stories about the baseball, and pitchers sometimes struggle with that, but he said it's in Japan the baseball is a little softer. It has a little more tackiness, and good pitchers can throw this is his quote, nasty stuff whenever they want because the seams are raised a little bit.
Right.
So he feels like even though the pitching is better here in the major leagues, as a hitter he felt like he has a little better advantage because of that baseball, and that's why he's a high ball hitter, because a lot of Japanese pitchers use the big sweeping curveballs, the high fastballs in concert with the big curveballs. A lot of breaking stuff, splitters.
More of a breaking ball league over in Japan. Not as many home runs, maybe because of large part because of the baseball.
Aoki, thrown away by Richard. Aoki will not slow down on his way to 3rd. Well, you can give him a stolen base for it.
Yeah, stolen base and an E1.
And he ends up at 3rd base with 1 out.
That is a big lead, and Richard does a nice job of hanging that leg up, waiting for the runner to commit himself. He just threw it away. Had Aoki picked off.
He had picked Aoki off in the first inning, which officially went as a caught stealing. Aoki never stopped, so Steals second, advances to third, and now the Brewers can add to their lead, infield and for the Padres.
And one of the reasons why that throw looked so bad, Alonso was really coming off the bag, waiting to make a play defensively, and then Richard threw it over to first base. That's why it wasn't even that close. Alonso was moving off the bag.
For Aoki, that is stolen base number 29. He's trying to join Braun and Gomez in the 30 steal club this season. Well, now Weeks trying to get one in the air to the outfield at least. 2-2. Close. Full count.
Throwing a lot of breaking balls lately. Got Braun on the breaking ball. See what he gives Ricky Weeks.
That ball's deep. Ricky Weeks will send one out of here. A missile. 2-run homer for Ricky Weeks. And the Brewers have a 4-1 lead as Weeks pops his 21st home run of the season and his first since September 15th.
How about that howitzer out of here? My goodness, that's the way Ricky hits from BP. Number 21 for Ricky Weeks, right down the middle. Nice short stroke, and that ball smoked out there into center field. Goodness.
What it must feel like to hit a ball that hard and that far. And it took no time getting out of here.
Home run 200 from Milwaukee. There you go.
Second of the game. National League leading 200th home run. Believe it or not, hasn't happened a whole lot in Brewers franchise history. It's only the third time in Miller Park history.
A lot of homers.
Yeah. Well, it occurred in 2007. The Brewers hit 231 home runs during the 07 season, and the other occasion was the first year of Miller Park, 2001. They hit 209. That's in the Miller Park era. The 1982 Brewers had a 200+ home run season. Harvey's Wall Bangers, they had 216 that year. And there was another year at County Stadium where the Brewers hit 203 homers, 1980.
And the Brewers are the fourth team in Major League Baseball this year with 200 or more home runs. Yankees lead everybody with 236. Assuming that was going into play today.
Braun rifles one to right, a base hit. And the batting average on the rise as Braun with his second knock. Well, 200 home runs, out-homering the Washington Nationals by 10. That's an impressive feat for the Nationals considering the ballpark they play in. But the Brewers, when they homer, they usually win at a big clip. They are 31 games over 500 when they homer. And Ricky Weeks, the second of the game for Milwaukee. He and Gomez have gone deep.
That's one thing that Richard has had a tough time with this year. That's the 30th home run that he's allowed. A lot of big flies, particularly where he pitches half his games.
Ramirez into right center, fairly deep, but playable. Braun's going to tag, and he'll stop at first. So Ramirez is out, second out of the inning. And that'll bring Corey Hart to the plate. By the way, Clayton Richard now leads the league in home runs allowed. He just passed Joe Blanton with that second home run allowed to the Brewers. Fair ball down the line. Headley goes the easy way to second to end the inning. But the Brewers play long ball here at Miller Park again. It was Gomez in the fourth and Ricky Weeks with a rocket. A 2-run shot. 4-1 Brewers.
The bottom of the fifth, the Brewers with a 4-1 lead. And tonight's Tavern of the Game went to the Draft House in Sturgeon Bay. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to an April or May Brewers home game next year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Here we go to the sixth. 5 in the books here at Miller Park, and the Brewers lead 4-1. Now Milwaukee's sitting on 81 victories for the season. 1 win away from a winning season. Chances for that look pretty dim 6 weeks ago. The Brewers sitting 12 games under 500. Starting play August 20th. Bouncing ball right to Segura. Well positioned out there at short. And there is out number 1. Now the Bucks are gearing up for another season and back in town today meeting with the media. Get complete coverage of today's events and more from Ryan Karchi at FoxSportsWisconsin.com. Brandon Jennings on the air with us, our Brewers Live pregame show. He joined Telly at the point a moment ago as well.
Looks excited for the season this year. Hope the Bucks do well. A lot of fun going down there watching the game.
Now the Bucks open up on the 2nd. Home opener is November 3rd. Hart unable to knock it down. He laid out. Venable thinking about 2. He's on his way. And the speedy Max Venable safe at second with a double, a hustle double with 1 away in the 6th.
Venable, a pretty good low ball hitter. Corey Hart got there, but just off the thumb of the glove and down in the short right field. Venable with good speed, able to get to second base. Always has been a very good low ball hitter. You don't see much of him, but when he gets hits, it's usually on a ball down.
A legacy, Will Venable.
Speaking of the Angels back in the 80s and 90s.
Venable takes off. He steals third base with ease.
His father, Max.
Well, what kind of ball player was he?
Scrappy. Not a big guy. His son, Will, is a lot taller than Max, but don't mess with him. And Max had good speed, good contact hitter. They can run him down in the outfield, that's for sure.
24th stolen base of the season. In the air to center field. Gomez broke back, and that's going to fall. A base hit. Yeah, Gomez misplayed that one. Will bring home a run. The stolen base pays off for Venable. And an RBI for Jesus Guzman on a flare.
Yeah, right off the end of the bat, a lot of times you're going to see an outfielder freeze on that. He sees the big swing, takes a step back, and that's all it takes for it to drop in front. And Venable able to walk to home plate.
It is 4-2 Milwaukee. One gone for Cameron Maben. Maben is hitless. Having a down year this year. Batting average down to 243. He's got some power, though. He only has 7 home runs, but this guy can hit him as far as anyone. He was part of that 2005 draft. One of the top picks in that draft. Same year as Ryan Braun and Tulowitzki. Ryan Zimmerman, among others.
Just hasn't found that consistency that the Padres were hoping for. When he first came up, he looked like he was going to be a good one.
Drafted by the Tigers, sent to the Marlins, and then eventually to San Diego. He's an excellent center fielder. He is in a rough stretch at the plate. He's hitless in his last 19 games. Two balls and a strike. Brewers look to turn 2 with 1 away. Maben's very fast. He'd have to hit it right at an infielder. A 2-run homer by Ricky Weeks in the bottom of the 5th, giving the Brewers a little cushion here. 1 run is in for the Padres in this inning. Now 4-2. And Maben lays off. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Markham's pitch count at 95. Hoping to get through 6 innings tonight in his final start of the year. Swing and a miss. Down he goes on strikes. He took a rip. And Markham picks up the strikeout.
Yeah, right down the middle, and Maben, who has really been scuffling as you've been talking about, swings right through it. Good pitch to hit. He missed it. Hey, get your tickets now for Brewers on Deck, presented by Time Warner Cable. It's Sunday, January 27th. Buy them by November 1st and get a voucher for a select Brewers home game next April. Visit Brewers.com/on-deck for details.
The pitcher, Clayton Richard, at the plate. Always look forward to that on-deck event. Start getting you ready for baseball season. Get a great turnout from the players and coaches. Ron Renicky will be there. Richard pops this one up. Foul territory. That's in the seats.
I'm still going through that last at bat by Cameron Maben in my head. I mean, here's a guy that's really scuffling. I mean, the only pitch that he swung at in that entire at bat. Now, remember, he's hitting in front of the pitcher now. you've got to be a little bit more aggressive when you have men on. You're down in the game, and Mabern took 2 fastballs for strikes and then came up empty on the 3rd. You got to be a little bit more aggressive than that.
And is now 0 for 20.
You got to go up there hacking when you're having a tough time, particularly when you get fastballs down the middle. Took a couple of them.
Clayton Richard hit his first big league home run back in the 3rd inning. It's not that he can't handle the bat, but he is a pitcher at the plate. He's hitting just .088. So he doesn't run into many.
And he's already ran into 2.
That's
One
right.
a home run, 1 an out to deep right field. So the odds are that he's not going to do it again.
Markham at an even 100, trying to put the pitcher away here with 2 away. Runner at first, and that one just missed. Full count. Guzman will take off, and Richard pops it foul and in the seats. Jim Henderson getting loose. Jim Renicky would just soon have him pitch the 7th.
Right. I don't know what would he call on him in 6th, but yeah, Markham has put himself in a fastball count, 3-2 to the pitcher. Tried to get him to chase, didn't do it. Now he's got to throw him a strike.
Clayton Richard went 5 years and 178 career at-bats before he hit his first home run. He fouls that one away. Confidence is an amazing thing. He doesn't look like a career 107 hitter.
He's just hitting some tough luck. Had a pretty good swing.
A lot of line drive outs.
Yeah.
It's a hard 107, you're saying.
Exactly.
Another 3-2, and that one's lined on a hop 2 weeks. See, his whole career's been that way.
Bad luck.
Markham gets out of it. 1 run is in, but he'll exit with the lead. Wisconsin is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by the new Miller Lite Punch Top Can. It's Miller time. Beautiful Miller Park on a Monday night. Roofs all closed up. Panels are closed. Sean Markham looks like he's done for the day. Hugs from his teammates, and what will be his final start of the season. Could be his last start as a Milwaukee Brewer. You never know. He'll be a free agent at season's end. And he pitched well. 6 innings, 2 runs. Gives up 6 hits to the Padres. He exits with the lead and a chance to win. Back-to-back starts to finish the season. Jonathan Lucroy will lead off for the Brewers. Well, Ramirez with an RBI today. Aramis with number 104 had a first inning ribby. Gomez in Weeks with home runs. Ricky's home run was a 2-run shot in the 5th. Lucroy, Gomez, and Segura to start it against Clayton Richard. And that ball's hit high in deep left center field. Watch it go. Jonathan Lucroy unloads his 12th of the season, and the Brewers lead 5-2.
Man, what a difference a day makes. The Brewers not able to do much yesterday. Got shut out by Jordan Lyles, and there's a slider that didn't do much down in the strike zone, and Lucroy gulps it out of here in the left center. Wow, 3rd of the game for the Brewers.
Pizza Hut delivery of the game as Gomez pops it up into right. And there is out number 1. Well, the Brewers' home run title is secure, I think, for the National League. But their stolen base situation is now in jeopardy as the Padres have a couple of steals tonight. The Brewers do have 1 stolen base, Nori Aoki. They led the Padres by just 3 to start play today. Power and speed. Jonathan Lucroy. And there has to be a little bit of what could have been with Jonathan Lucroy. You know, when he was injured, he broke his hand. He was one of the top hitting catchers in the National League. As a matter of fact, he was in the top 10 in hitting at the time. And putting together an all-star caliber season. Segura rolls over to short. Out number 2. But even missing 2 months of the schedule, Lucroy has 12 homers and now 57 runs batted in.
The catching tandem's done a pretty good job in, as far as driving in runs, run production. Maldonado's got 7 homers and 26 ribbies. Pretty good combination.
Yeah, that is.
Remember, Maldonado didn't come up until the end of May.
Yeah, you throw George Kataris's early numbers in there. Brewers getting a lot of production from their catching position. Eric Ferris pinch hitting for Sean Markham. Which will signal the end for Markham. And if in fact this is his last start as a Brewer, then nothing to hang his head about. He struggled late last year and into the postseason, but he had a terrific year last year and was a major part of a 96-win season and a division title.
Yeah, without his success on the road, the Brewers might not have gone to the postseason last year.
Well, Markham had the best road earned run average in all of baseball last season.
And he was doing that throughout the year, even when the Brewers last year had a tough time winning games away from Miller Park.
I know he was disappointed in his postseason performance last season. Used it as motivation this year, and then was pitching well before he was injured, elbow injury. knocked him out for a couple of months. Ferris bounces one over to second, and that will retire the side. Well, Jonathan Lucroy gives Sean Markham a little insurance. Solo home run to make it 5-2 Brewers as Lucroy pops his 12th of the year. Yoda, and the Brewers doing it with a long ball tonight. Carlos Gomez with his 19th of the season. That was in the 4th inning, gave the Brewers a 2-1 lead. Then Ricky Weeks in the next inning, a booming home run to center field. 2-run shot for Weeks, number 21. Then Lucroy goes deep. Lucroy's measured at 443 feet. A solo homer, his 12th, and the Brewers lead 5-2. So Sean Markham is out, 6 innings, 2 runs, in line for a win. And it'll be Jim Henderson out of the bullpen to pitch the 7th inning. And he'll have the top of the order coming up.
Henderson has been very good out of that Brewers bullpen. He's been unscored upon in his last 10 games and has retired 15 straight batters, and that includes 9 strikeouts. Last pitched on Friday against the Astros, and obviously pitched a scoreless inning.
And our Jimmy John's high-speed delivery, the 2 starters tonight. Richard topping out at 94, Markham at 88. Markham has a chance to finish at 7-4 if the Brewers bullpen can take it the rest of the way. Got some finals coming in. The Baltimore Orioles lose in Tampa in St. Pete tonight. 5-3 Rays beat the Orioles. And the Yankees defeated the Red Sox 10-2. So now the Yankees back in first place with 2 to play. Tigers still have a lead over the Kansas City Royals. Miguel Cabrera has homered, his 44th, now leading all 3 Triple Crown categories. That is now 6-2 Detroit as they try to seal up a division title. That would be back-to-back division titles for the Tigers. I don't think any team wants to face Detroit with Verlander leading off.
Yeah, particularly at home. I mean, the Tigers 50-31 at home coming into play today. Tied for the most wins at home of any team in baseball. That gives you some type of a sense for what the Brewers did here at Miller Park last year. Incredible.
57-24 was the Brewers' home record last season, the most ever. And having a great home schedule this year. There's a base hit. Cabrera with a single to center field to start the 7th inning. And you figure he'll be running shortly.
And been a while since Henderson's given up a base runner. And snaps a string of 15 consecutive outs. With that Cabrera 2-out or 2-strike single to center.
Logan Forsythe with Cabrera at first. Brewers lead by 3. They've out-hit the Padres 10-7. Runner goes. Lucroy's throw. And not in time. Cabrera gets a foot in there. Second steal of the night for Cabrera. He had 4 yesterday. And now 43 stolen bases on the season. Leads the league.
Big lead. Good jump this time. And Lucroy's throw a little bit up toward right field, but I think he had it beat anyway. Pretty close. Yeah. Boy, it looked like he was out.
It did. Segura tagged him on the leg. Segura thought he had the tag on him before the hand was in there.
Yeah, it looked like it anyway.
It's hard to get out calls when the tag goes from the hip down. On the hip, the legs, the shoes.
Especially when the umpire's on the first base side of the bag. You really can't see that all that well as opposed to being on the other side. But that's where they set up.
You make the call. Glove down, hand not there yet.
Out, not even close, actually, was it? Looked like the umpire was blocked off. Throw the red flag, Ron.
Yes. Quickly. Not yet. The day's coming, Rock. Never fear, my friend.
I'm starting to get on board, believe me.
I've seen the worm turn.
The transition has been made over the last month. Calls on the bases. I'm in. I was adamantly against any of that, but not now.
On the ground to Segura. And there is out number 1 as Forsythe bounces out. Well, congratulations are in order to the Washington Nationals. Now, they were shut out tonight by the Phillies 2-0. Now, they have not played well down the stretch here, but the Atlanta Braves lost tonight. So the Nationals are NL East champs by way of a Braves loss. Hey, anyway.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
There's still a celebration going on.
Sure thing. Pirates beat Atlanta tonight 2-1.
Had a couple of days to enjoy it.
So that locks in all 3 division winners now. Cabrera on the run and no throw by Lucroy. A wild pitch. National League's pretty well set. You got the Nationals, Giants, Reds, all division winners. Atlanta's going to be the top wild card team. They'll host the wild card game Friday. Now it's just a matter of the Cardinals and the Dodgers. St. Louis is leading tonight 4-2. They're 2 games ahead of Los Angeles with 3 to play. So still a chance for the Dodgers. Dodgers are hosting the Giants tonight, and they're just underway. Giants lead 1-0. Still a matter of the best record to be determined between the Reds and the Nationals. Those 2 are tied coming into play tonight. Swing and a miss. Headley with a big cut. Yeah, power on power.
Yeah, big fastball, 97 up around the belt. Tough for even a guy like Headley to get a piece of. up in the zone. You get that down, a little easier to get to. Not up there.
5-2 Brewers. The National League's top RBI man, Headley at the plate. And he pulls that one foul. Ryan Braun's got a stake in this at-bat here on a number of levels.
And most importantly, the game. And then the RBI crown.
Braun's one behind Headley. 1-2. Fights it off.
A couple of good sliders.
The speedy Cabrera got a stolen base. Advanced to third on a wild pitch. 1 out. The 1-2. Pulls it foul.
And 3 straight sliders after going after him with that fastball up in the zone. They put it in a pretty good spot, all 3 of them. You don't want to leave that pitch out over the plate.
Pitch number 7. And look at Fox tracks. All of those pitches inside. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Jim Henderson has certainly put himself in the picture for next season. He has given this organization a big jolt. Anytime you can find velocity out of the minor leagues. Henderson had always struggled with his command. That's why it took him so long to get to the big leagues. He had shoulder surgery as well. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with the high heat. 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and Henderson wins the battle on the 8th pitch.
Yep, after all those sliders, Headley able to foul him off and blew it right by him up and in. Well located fastball, but Headley swings right through it. Lucroy shaking yes like good pitch. He was set up away. Went up and in with it and punched him out.
2 outs. And here is the switch hitting catcher, Yasmani Grandal. Strike. 1-1. Just power fastball there. And Henderson, he dropped down a little bit. At 3/4 delivery.
Yeah, slings it out there, and left-handers see it a little bit better. That was a good pitch to hit, but the velocity got it right by him.
Well, this is as hard as he's thrown all year. He's hit 98. 1-2 pitch. Back to the high fastball. Well, it's going to be a satisfying offseason for Jim Henderson, knowing that he finally made it after 10 years in the minor leagues. Not only made it, but took great advantage of the opportunity. There's a shot, a base hit. Grandal just poked it into left field. A good swing, and he produces a run.
He gave him a slider. He left it out over the plate. He didn't make that mistake with Chase Headley. Left all the sliders in and just fouled him off. Left that one out over the plate. A little less velocity, and Grandal able to slap it into left. It's not where he wanted it, but that's where it ended up.
It's a nice piece of hitting as well. A 2-out, 2-strike RBI hit. Henderson giving up his first run in his last 11 games. And now Alonso representing the tying run. couple of streaks ending for Jim Henderson. Single by Cabrera. Snapped 15 in a row, 15 batters in a row retired, and then the run stops his streak at 10 consecutive scoreless appearances. Pretty impressive.
Yes.
2 outs. Ball and 2 strikes.
And Padres just haven't been able to get the bat head out on the fastball. Almost doing him a favor by slipping a slider in there. Certainly did Grandal a favor. Good spot to throw one of those up and in heaters.
Down he goes. Henderson with the high fastball. Strikes out Alonso to end the inning. The Padres score, but the Brewers still lead 5-3 as Henderson picks up a couple of Ks.
Pulse of shows from Mito, we were talking Brewers milestones, leading the majors in strikeouts and leading the National League in home runs and stolen bases. No surprise tonight, they picked up another milestone. We've seen 3 home runs. That puts them at over 200 for the season. Just the 5th time in franchise history the Brewers have done that. No surprise, our first tweet from Nicole, she said, home runs this year were out of this world. Braun was great. Hard to argue with that. Hot Wing said, by far it is stolen bases. Based on the amount of homers, rare teams are speedy and smart with power. So impressive. BA and Rock. Hard to say which of these numbers has helped the Brewers be so successful this season.
Yeah, it's been a nice team effort, and it's shown just the balance of this ball club. It's not a team that totally depends on the home run ball. As Aoki bounces one out to Forsythe, and he is retired for the first time after 3 hits today. I think they're pretty proud of the fact that they've been able to not only hit the home runs, show the great power, but also steal the bases. But I think the manager, Ron Renneke, is more impressed with the fact that not only do they steal bases, they go first to third, they score on, just routine base hits to the outfield. They're very aggressive, and that's the kind of style and the kind of culture change that Renneke wanted to bring to Milwaukee, and he has. And the Brewers have responded well. You have to have a good third base coach. I mean, you have to have a guy like Ed Cedar who is willing to take those risks, and you're going to get some players thrown out. That's going to happen. And I think for Ed Cedar, Ron Renneke knows that job very well. He was a longtime third base coach of the Angels. As Weeks sends that one into deep left field, didn't quite get it. And out number 2.
And the biggest thing about being a third base coach is understanding who's out there in the bases, what kind of effort you're going to get each and every time. And when your players give you 100% effort running the bases, it makes the job of the third base coach and his decision to send the runner or not much easier. I think the Brewers, as a group, have a bunch of guys on the bases that are going to give 100%. And when you know that going in, and you're the third base coach, you're going to make most of your decisions are going to be good ones.
Ryan Braun at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Braun is 2 for 3. His batting average up to .322. Been a great run for Braun in the batting average category. He's extended his hitting streak to 11 consecutive games. Slow roll to short. Cabrera makes a play to end the inning. Richard is through 7. Brewers lead 5-3. We head to the 8th. This 3-game series, the last 3 of the regular season. Baseball season coming to an end. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap, 2 left after tonight. Both here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The Padres will wrap up the regular season. It's been a pitching change for the Padres for tomorrow. Anthony Bass will start for San Diego as opposed to Casey Kelly. Tyler Thornburg will get the start for the Brewers tomorrow, in the spot that was previously occupied by Willie Peralta. He's shut down for the year. So it'll be good to see Tyler Thornburg tomorrow, one of the top young prospects in the Brewers system. Ishikawa takes over at first base. And the new pitcher Rockies, Francisco Rodriguez.
Now K-Rod making his 76th appearance on the year, 2-7 record. He's got just as many strikeouts as innings pitched. He giving up 8 home runs. One of those coming in his last outing. Gave up a home run to Jason Castro against the Astros on Friday night.
Will Venable will lead off for San Diego. K-Rod headed to the bottom of the Padres order. And there's strike 1 to Venable. Venable had a hustle double in the 6th inning, and then he stole third base. Ended up scoring on a base hit. Scored the second Padres run. 3 hits tonight for Venable, a single and 2 doubles. The Chicago Cubs are in progress tonight against the Astros. Cubs are trying to avoid a 100-loss season. They're sitting on 99 losses. They're being shut out right now. 3-0. Astros pitching has suddenly found it after a shutout yesterday here in Milwaukee. So that game's in the bottom of the 8th.
If the Cubs lose, it's going to be 2 100-loss teams this year, both coming out of the National League Central, Chicago and Houston.
Astros with back-to-back 100-loss seasons. I think you got to go back to the early 60s Mets to find the last two to lose 100 games in consecutive years.
It's going to be a while before the Astros turn things around. They are heading into a very tough division next year.
Toughest part, it's even if they have money to spend, is convincing free agents to come there. You figure the Astros are going to have to take a page out of the athletics book. They're going to have to give a number of players opportunities, you know, reclamation projects, guys who may be coming back from injury or poor seasons. There's a swing and a miss. K-Rod strikes out Will Venable on his signature pitch, the changeup.
And a good one. He threw a couple of them, and finally on a 2-2 count, Venable chased one down in the zone, and a beauty. Exactly what you wanted with 2 strikes.
Not a great pitch. That's the pitch that has made him famous. Still holds a major league record for saves in a season with 62. So 1 out, and here is Jesus Guzman, who drove in a run with a single in the 6th. That was a breaking ball in there for a strike.
That's the thing, you know, K-Rod, last 6 weeks or so has been throwing much better because of his ability to throw strikes with all 3 of his pitches. That was a stretch where he was having a tough time with every one of his pitches.
Another breaking ball, strike 2. Well, we've had a chance to watch Francisco Rodriguez work. He was dynamite last year as a Brewer after the trade for the Mets. Had a significant rough patch this year. But he's trying to finish strong. What we didn't know about him, and it's tough to know things like that, but didn't know he was such a great presence in the bullpen. That's been the talk of Ron Renicke's sessions, and you talk to Rick Kranitz and even the bullpen catcher and coach Marcus Hanno and Lee Tunnell, talking about what a great leader that Francisco Rodriguez is. We talked about this the other night, but labels can be a scary thing. But Rodriguez got a fresh start here in Milwaukee, and even though he wanted to be a closer and wanted to continue closing games, he has taken on this leadership role, this mentoring role, and it comes with very high praise from those who have seen it firsthand.
And once you get a label, right or wrong, whether it's true or not, it's tough to shake.
It says a lot about a guy who's going through a rough year to accept that role and try to mentor and take this young relief corps, guys in the big leagues for the first time like Kinsler and Josh Stinson down there, Tyler Thornburg, Jim Henderson. It's a totally different culture in the bullpen.
It's a world all to themselves down there. They live by their own set of rules. That's why not many others are allowed out there. Starting
right.
pitchers can't go out there. It's just their spot, that bullpen.
Full count. You spend any amount of time in the bullpen, you certainly know how tough it can be to give up leads late. That's the nature of the business. I mean, those are heartbreaking losses, and they all pick each other up.
And they stay positive out there. You have to. I've spent a lot of time in big league bullpens.
You would know.
Yes, I would.
Well, who are some of the guys that you played with down in the bullpen that had an impact? You know, regardless of what they did between the lines, that had an impact on on players.
Right, yeah, Bob McClure was a guy that set a real good example. Dan Plesac was real good down in the pen. Talking about keeping things light. Our colleague over at the MLB Network.
I could see that. Ground ball to short. Segura winds it up. Fires to first. Man, we just love watching him play shortstop.
No contest over there at first.
Man, made it look easy. Not an easy play. 2 outs in the inning. Our text question tonight, courtesy of Ho Chunk Gaming. Stan in Germantown. Do you think Ryan Braun can compete for a triple crown? Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt.
He's the one guy that could not just put up the big numbers, the triple crown numbers, but also put up the big stolen base numbers as well. Leads the league in homers, second in runs batted in. Yeah, nice ovation here for Mark Kotsay pinch hitting. Big part of the Brewers division title last year. Boy, how clutch was Mark Kotsay.
Yeah, pro's pro. This guy knows what he's doing.
Padres realized that. They locked him up a couple of months ago to a contract for next year. Speaking of guys who have an impact on young players.
Right. Great attitude. He understands. He gets it. Understands what his job is and does a good job at it.
Yeah, Ron Renicky admitted that for a first-year manager, he couldn't have asked for a better veteran bench to kind of handle that clubhouse as well. And Mark Kotsay and Craig Counsell, he gives those two a lot of credit, and Jerry Hairston Jr. as well. As Kotsay, oh, what a great catch! Ishikawa robbing the former Brewer of a base hit. Look at Kotsay. Nicely done, pal. The tip of the hat. Kotsay robbed of a base hit. Ishikawa lays out. Outstanding play to end the inning. 1-2-3 for K-Rod.
Bottom of the 8th inning, the Brewers looking for their 82nd win of the season, and they do it with a little power game. Sean Markham good on the mound, but Gomez, Weeks, Lucroy all hitting home runs. Brewers reached 200 plateau on the season as well.
I'll tell you, that's quite a good deed that they've done tonight. When we look at this ball club, you look at what they do when they hit home run. The record is 68-37 when they hit home run. Tonight, it started off with Gomez getting that big home run to the opposite way. Ricky Weeks comes back with the big 2-0 2-run home run in the 5th inning, and Jonathan McCoy in the 6th with the blast to left field to put the Brewers ahead.
Our Marshfield Clinic shining moment, the home run ball for the Brewers. It's not Braun, Ramirez, or Hart tonight. It's Gomez, Weeks, and Lucroy as we get you set for Brewers Live postgame coming up after the ball game, Brian.
All right, thanks, Craig and Augie. There you see Alexi Amarista, the new Padres center fielder. And Nick Vincent is on the pitch for San Diego. Ramos Ramirez leads off. He drove in the first run of the ball game with an RBI single, a 2-out RBI single in the first. 5-3 Brew Crew as Ramirez takes a big cut. Down he goes. Out number 1, a strikeout for Vincent. And here comes Travis Ishikawa after that terrific catch.
That would have been an impossible play for Corey Hart, being a right-handed throwing first baseman. The fact that Ishikawa throws left-handed, it's on the glove side, able to make the play.
Ishikawa pops it foul in the seats. Ball and a strike on Travis.
Ishikawa's ended up with a nice season this year. Got off to a slow start, didn't get many at bats. Remember, he was the guy that Ron Rennick was looking to take over for Matt Gavin when he first got hurt. Got off out of the gate slow, and in the second half he started to turn things around. Done a nice job. Some big pinch hits.
Yeah, he's been a good hitter when he's started games. Might see him in there tomorrow. Figure Corey Hart wants to try to go out with a bang. He's been dealing with that injured foot. It's not going to require surgery, but it's not going to heal until the end of the season. Ishikawa's had a pretty good year off the bench this year. 13 hits, 50 at-bats. Done some damage lately. Not an easy role. Well, Ishikawa's in our AT&T Uverse reverse replay. How about this catch robbing Mark Kotze of the base hit?
And that ball looked like it was by him. Left-handed throwing first base on the glove side, able to make the catch, and a congratulatory handshake from Mark Kotze.
Ishikawa is aboard with a walk. So it'll be Lucroy now. In a booming home run in the 6th. Over 440 feet. One of the longest he's hit this year. That was his 12. 57 RBIs for Lucroy. If you want to do the quick math in your head, and it doesn't necessarily apply to catchers, but typically you get around 600 at-bats in a season. Lucroy has 311. He's got 12 home runs, so you just double that. You figure a 24 home run season. Certainly a 20-plus home run season had he remained healthy this year. The Brewers feel like he's going to be a guy to hit 20 home runs every year. It's going to be fun to see what he can do in a full season.
That's not his game, though, trying to pull the baseball. I mean, he gets a lot of mileage out of going up the middle of the opposite field, which is why he's so good with runners in scoring position, not trying to hit home runs. Every now and again, he'll get a count in his favor and try and hook one. Not a guy that's going to get many to the opposite field.
John Axford preparing for a potential save opportunity. The Brewers lead is 2. Look out in the dugout. LaCroix shaking him up in there. Ground foul. Well, the Brewers are going to come out of the season knowing they have two excellent young catchers. LaCroix and Maldonado, 26 years of age. That is a luxury that is the envy of every team in baseball.
All right, you're lucky to get one.
Pop up right side, that is in foul grounds. Forsythe runs it down for out number 2. And I suppose if you're a catcher under Ron Renicky, that is a bonus, because there are very few managers that uses the non-starter from the catching position like Renicky does. He'll use his backup catcher on that particular day to hit.
And how often do you actually, when you save him in the event of an injury, how often does that ever happen? Hardly ever.
Ron Renicky says never in his lifetime in baseball, which is why he doesn't mind using the catcher. And he always has an emergency guy.
Never say never.
One of these days, they're going to call you down from the booth, Rock.
I had my chance.
The emergency catcher for the Brewers right now is Jeff Bianchi.
And the Brewers have to pour through 3 catchers right now. So that would indeed be an emergency.
Yeah, Yorvi Torrealba is here. Yeah, you can relax when you get to September. Jeff Bianchi wasn't sure he was the emergency catcher, but every time he walked down the tunnel, he saw all of this catcher's equipment hanging up with the number 14 on it. It was brand new. He said, I wonder who that's for. And then he realized that he was number 14.
Oh, that's me.
Pardon me, Jeff. Can we fit you for these shin guards? We're just testing them out.
Yeah.
This chest protector looks about your size. I think Gomez is making a run at his 20th homer here.
Hey, I don't think he doesn't know he needs one more, right?
Round numbers are very important in this game. He's sitting on 19. Fouls it out of play. Gomez homered in the 4th, extended his hitting streak to 8 games. A .261 batting average right now. 19 homers, 51 runs batted in. And he missed a couple of weeks with a hamstring injury this year. 2-2, way outside.
And not often you look down at the stats and you see a guy with just as many home runs as walks for the season. That's what Gomez has got.
Gomez with 36 stolen bases this year. The league leader is with the Padres, their shortstop, Everett Cabrera, with 43. .5-3 Brewers, bottom of the 8th. And Vincent with a 3-2 count on Gomez. Ishikawa takes off, swing and a miss. Gomez strikes out, and the inning is over. Head to the ninth. Save opportunity coming up for John Axford. Five to 3, the Brewers have the lead, trying to wrap it up here at Miller Park tonight. First of this 3-game series, and we're winding down this Major League schedule. A win tonight, the Brewers guarantee a winning season, looking for their 82nd win. Columbia St. Mary's save tracker, John Axford with 33. Hoping for number 34 tonight. The Padres will have Chris Denorfia lead off, pinch hitting, and then back to the top of their order. And the guy you're trying to stay away from is Chase Headley, who would be due up 4th in this 9th inning. Axford a 2-run lead to work with. Denorfia takes strike 1. Well, we've seen the Washington Nationals secure their division title tonight. Even though they lost, the Braves lost as well. And Washington is the National League East Division champions for the first time in their franchise history in Washington. That's the first team in the D.C. area to go to the postseason since 1933.
Right. Imagine there's a bit of a party celebration in the nation's capital tonight. They deserve it.
Still a matter of the top record in the game in the National League between the Reds and the Nationals. I think that's big to get the number 1 seed.
Big curveball from John Axford. Boy, a rough blown save for Axman on Thursday. Boy, he was throwing well, and then Todd Frazier ran into one, tied it up, and the Reds beat him.
Yeah, that was a game that kind of took the wind out of the sails for the Brewers as Axford strikes out Denorfia. That's a good start to the 9th.
Big curveball. He's been looking for that pitch all year. Back-to-back curveballs. This one in the dirt. And Denorfia waves at it. Didn't see it very well.
Well, Brewers bullpen picking up some strikeouts. Henderson struck out 2. K-Rod 1. Now Axford with a K. 6 strikeouts in the game so far. Remember, the Brewers need to average 9 a game the rest of the season, the next 3 nights, to set that major league record for strikeouts by a pitching staff. There's strike 1 on Carlos Quentin pinch hitting. Sean Markham started. He went 6 innings. He's in line for the win. I think we should definitely interview Sean Markham and let every other starting pitcher and position player get some serious shaving cream payback on him.
Yep, seeds, eye black, you name it. I don't think he's going to go for it, though.
I think he might be too afraid to come out.
No chance.
He's been inflicting a lot of damage to those we've interviewed all season.
I know Gallardo, Estrada, Fires would love to get a piece of him.
Marco Estrada felt the wrath of Sean Markham most recently. Well, if Axford can close it out, Markham would win his last 2 starts. Good for him heading into the offseason. Tomorrow, Tyler Thornburg. Renicky said he's hoping to get 3-4 innings out of him tops. He hasn't pitched much. He's a starter all year in the minor leagues, but completely out of that role here in the big leagues. Gallardo still scheduled to start on Wednesday, the finale. Axford walks Carlos Quentin. And now the tying run will come to the plate.
And you got Chase Headley waiting in the wings, and that's the last thing you want to do. Put yourself in a position to have to face Headley as the tying run. So John Axford looking for a double play ball.
So Logan Forsythe will hit. And Andy Perino is going to pinch run for Carlos Quentin. St. Louis is beating the Reds tonight. The Cardinals guarantee a tie for the second wild card spot. They can clinch that spot if the Dodgers lose tonight. But the Cardinals know they'll at least have a tiebreaker game to go to the postseason. St. Louis beat Bronson Arroyo today. And while things are becoming clearer in the National League, it is anything but in the American League. Ball and a strike. 2-1. Astros finish off the Cubs, a 100-loss season on the north side. Tough year.
Well, you knew it was going to be going into the season. Not that tough, though.
Two and two. Well, stay tuned to the Brewers Live post-game show as Augie and Rock will break down the techniques and strategies of the game in tonight's post-game instructional. What do you have tonight, Rock?
We're going to have Augie talking about that Clayton Richard move to first base. Had a couple of pickoffs today. Interesting move. Augie's going to break it down for us.
Can't think of a better guy to do that than the old left-hander. Strike called. Axford rings him up. Perfectly placed fastball, and the second strikeout for the Axeman. 2 gone in the night.
And not much you can do with that pitch. That's about as perfect as it gets. Right at the knees on the corner. 1 out away, but it's a tough one in the batter's box right now.
The man Axford did not want to face in this 9th inning. Chase Headley, the RBI leader in the National League. Runner takes off. Headley fouls it away. Headley is 0 for 2 with 2 walks tonight. No RBIs. Braun without an RBI tonight. 2 for 4. Headley still leads by 1. And Axford trying to keep it that way. The 0-1 swing and a miss. 0-2 the count. Marino takes second base. Remember, Headley struck out on a high fastball from Jim Henderson in the 7th. And certainly Axford was paying attention to that. 0-2 pitch. Threw him a breaking ball.
Back-to-back curveballs. Headley went after the first one, not the second.
Max trying to nail down his 34th save of the year. Make a winner out of Markham. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Headley, and a broken bat foul out of play.
Slider that time in on his hands. Headley's had a tough time with that pitch tonight. Never really couldn't handle it all that well for Jim Henderson.
Crowd of over 30,000 tonight. Hoping to see the Brewers secure a winning season. Looking for their 82nd win of the year. Another 1-2 coming. 3 straight breaking balls from Axford. And a 4th misses low and in. 2-2. There'll be a lot of thought put into this pitch.
And if he could throw that curveball for a strike, he's going to get him, because you know Headley's thinking fastball here.
Headley with 31 home runs. Representing the tying run, the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And John Axford saves number 34, and a smile on his face. Makes Markham a winner. Markham to 7-4. As the Brewers win 5-3 and win number 82 of the season. It'll be a winning season in 2012. Brewers bang out 3 home runs tonight. Craig Kashawn standing by. What do you have coming up on Brewers Live, Craig?
Well, it's good to get